Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Las Vegas. You're live on Twitch. You're live on Twitch right now with us. And shout out to you if you're watching on YouTube on the restream. Yes. It's Monday. And you know what that means? It means markets. Markets. The markets are on fire. We're at 39, above 3,900 on the S&P 500 last that I checked. And you know we're live on Clubhouse as well. So shout outs to you. If you're joining us on Clubhouse, my homie Policy is here on Clubhouse with us. And I'm just, I know Policy from Ibiza. We both lived in Ibiza for a number of years, DJ'd at a place called Soul City together. And my homie Policy has now made Ibiza a, who's that yelling? I mean, Twitch and their ads. You got to love Twitch and their adverts. Policy has been doing his thing in Ibiza for a long time. He's Mr. Ibiza these days. And Policy is a resident of Ibiza. Not only a resident DJ these days, he's now a resident, un residente de la isla Ibiza. Muy bien. Y felicidades, Policy, con todo. We're live on Twitch. I'm live with you on Twitch, and we're on Clubhouse as well. So shout out to Policies listening in on Clubhouse, and I'm talking to you live around the world right now. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure being here with you. Jump in the chat if you're on Twitch with us. If you are a sub, I will give you Bitcoin. I'll give you Bitcoin. How about that? It's Monday. We're fired up, and I'm excited to be with you. So let's look at the charts right quick. You know, there's people who talk about Dogecoin. Yeah, I'll get to Dogecoin maybe later this week. It's such a silly story. Although you're seeing Doge now, in the top, you see Dogecoin in the top 10 of cryptocurrency, which to me that's bearish for me. When you see silly things like that, it kind of just means it's silly season. And so, speaking of bearish for me, we're talking about Bitcoin this morning, and I'm talking to you about the bear case for Bitcoin. You might be crying, but there's no crying in crypto, unless, of course, you lose a lot of money. So here's the thing. I want to talk to you about exactly what's happening in crypto so you are just in a better position, right? I want to make sure that you are aware of what you need to be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, so to speak. EXPI up 10% today, 11% today. I called that out for you around $100 about 2 weeks ago, and now it's 149.41. It's just going up to the moon. I was waiting for a retrace on that, and I actually have a position on that. I told you I was going to pick up some EXPI. It's a stock, a real estate company. Just looking at the chart quickly. Oh, I'm actually just looking at the price quickly. This is the first time you're seeing me live look at the prices for everything now. Like I told you on Clubhouse before we got started here on Twitch, I start my day very intentional these days. And I was out a little later than normal last night for the Super Bowl. Congrats to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Antonio Brown, now a Super Bowl champion. That is funny, but congrats to him and Gronk and the whole team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, shout out to the defense, did amazing. Held the Chiefs. You didn't even see them get one touchdown, which not many people expected. So yeah, very, 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 very bullish case last night for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm going to make for you the bearish case for Bitcoin today. So now you're seeing the Bitcoin price about 42,000, which I believe is an all-time high. So let's look up the chart for the Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin chart. We're going to have a look at the Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to chat with you about why I think it will go down. Now, you might be saying, why are you being a hater? Why are you being a hater? Here you are talking about bearish case for Bitcoin. Who asked you anyway? I'm just doing technical analysis the same way. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the messenger. But the same way you saw with GameStop and all that madness in the U.S. markets. I'm not saying Bitcoin is GameStop. I'm just saying the thing is insanely overbought and overextended. I'm looking at the monthly chart. So here I'm showing you the monthly chart on Bitcoin. And I mean, look at that. Look at that. Just growth, 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 growth. Obviously, you want to see that if you're long Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin long, shout out to the Bitcoin bulls. I believe today is an all-time high for, oh wow, we hit 45,000 almost today. So yeah, so when I say that, I mean, it looks like even 50,541 is in sight. So when I say to you, Bitcoin to 20,000, you might be saying, "Ooch, man, are you a moron? You see where Bitcoin is at? What are you talking about, G?" Well, what I'm talking to you about is just the fact that you see it's so overextended, and there are certain support and resistances that I have my eyes on. So I obviously teach you about support and resistance in my stock course. Join my course if you haven't already. Shout outs to you joining us on Twitch. If you are a subscriber, get in the chat. I will send you some Bitcoin right now because I'm in a giving mood for my subscribers here on Twitch. So, and I got Bitcoin. So, yeah, you're just seeing it way overextended. Now, there's a support here at the 12-day moving average, which is around 21,000. So 20,000, sure, I think it could test that 20,000. That 20,000 psychological support that you would call that. You call that psychological support, and you call that, by the way, I teach you this in my course too, by the way. So take my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. Take my course, I'll teach you. So, psychological support you see at certain price levels. They tend to be hold numbers that you'll see 20,000, 15,000, 10,000. If you're looking at a smaller crypto or stock, $20, $50, $100, you'd see those different psychological supports or resistances, and you call them psychological because they're not based on any fundamentals. You're not seeing it based on the order flow, the order book. You're seeing that based on just it being a whole number that sounds juicy, that sounds that, I mean, $50 sounds a lot juicier than $49, even though it's only $1 apart. Sure, $50 is more than $49. You know that. But $50 sounds a lot more juicier than $49. $100 sounds a lot more juicier than 99 or 98 or even 102. There's even somebody I know who said, I would rather you give me $100 than 105. Let's just say, why? So, well, because 100 is a whole number. Okay. So you have people who have these psychological barriers, and these create psychological supports and resistances on the chart. So when you have that happen, we have certain numbers that are just kind of going to be custard last stand, and 20,000 being one of them here. Even though you see support at 21,000 on the 12-day moving average, you would see it probably test 20,000 and stay above that level. Now you're saying to yourself, this thing is almost at 50K. So why are you talking to me about this? This is silly. Bitcoin is obviously going to the moon. And yes, you see Bitcoin very, very bullish right now, clearly in a breakout. I mean, it makes 2017's all-time high look like an absolute joke. It looks like it was, if you're looking at the chart here with us on Twitch, it just looks like it was just going straight across before it had this huge breakout. And then, it'll eventually find support around here, I'm guessing, or something like that. Very similar to what you saw in 2017. So the bearish case that I'm making for Bitcoin is based on what you're seeing on this chart, and that is very overbought conditions, which you can see on the RSI. Again, I teach you about RSI in my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. Go there now, join the course. So you have the RSI in the white here, and I teach you in my course that when the RSI is in white, on the top it's overbought, on the bottom it's oversold. Right now it's overbought because obviously you're seeing the price go up and up and up and up and up. And you're not seeing any real support being built on the way up. Yes, you have Fibonacci's set up right now. You see the multicolored shaded areas. Those are called different Fibonacci supports and resistances. And yeah, that's all well and good. But that 12-day moving average, and particularly that 50-day moving average, those are my bread and butter when you talk about supports and resistances. Yes, I love Fibs. I love Fibonacci so much. And I teach you about Fibonacci in my course. But that said, when you go up like an elevator, and I explained this at a Super Bowl party last night, when you go up like an elevator, you have to come down like an elevator, right? And you may be saying, well, I could just take the stairs. Well, let's have a look, right? So let's say you go to a building and it's 50 stories, and they say, hey, you got to take the stairs to get to the 50th floor. And you're like, yeah, do I have to do that? Because I really, do you want to do that? Maybe you're like an Olympic athlete and you want to do that. You want the challenge. Most people, though, as you know, don't want to do that. Most people want to take the elevator, right? So you take the elevator up to the 50th floor, you go to the deck and you kind of look around and you say, wow, this is amazing. I love the view. You can see the whole panoramic view of the city and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so now you have to go downstairs and they say, well, can't take the elevator down. And you go, well, why not? So, just can't. You got to take the stairs. You're like, these stairs again. You keep talking to me about these stairs. All right. And you start heading towards the stairs and you're not excited to take the stairs down, even though it's down, right? It's not like you're going up 50 flights of stairs, but you have to walk down 50 flights of stairs. And you're like, I don't really want to do that. You go, just kidding. You can actually take the elevator down. And you're like, definitely happy about that because, you know, you don't want to take the stairs down. Like you want to take the elevator down. You took the elevator up. Great. So you take the elevator down. That's how these things work in terms of charts. So what you're seeing here on the chart that I'm showing you on Twitch right now and on YouTube, if you're watching our restream, hello, you're seeing an elevator go up in terms of price. And in price action, this feels good. It feels amazing. Listen, for my portfolio, my crypto portfolio, and your crypto portfolio, you're seeing a lot of gains. So, you know, I'm making a bearish case just out of common sense, not so much as I want this to happen, right? But it's an elevator going up. And when you set up as an elevator going up in the market, especially with technical analysis, where you're looking at this chart, you're setting up like an elevator going down. It's why you saw this happened back here in 2017. As you look at the chart here on Twitch, back in 2017, you saw things go up to 20K almost, right? And then it precipitously declined. It doesn't look so much like a precipitous decline when you look at it like this, but let me zoom in some here, right? So I can refresh your memory as to what that actually looked like back then before all of this madness that you've seen over the last, I would say about 6 months or so, right? On Bitcoin. Look at this. Look at this. You saw this go up mightily, right? Bitcoin was a behemoth back in 2017. Boom, boom, boom. Does this look familiar to you? And then bearish. It moved bearish and it basically almost matched where it came up from. Incredibly bearish. And again, moved very high above the 12-day moving average, right? The 50-day moving average is basically non-existent. And it came down and it eventually tested that 12-day moving average, as you can see. And then it came down further and eventually came down to the 50-day here. The way you see the 50-day here on this chart, it's kind of weird, and it's trying to compensate for the lack of time on this chart because you know that Bitcoin is only 13 years old as of this year. You have charts for different stocks like Procter & Gamble, Disney, Ford that go back to like the 50s and 60s. So you have more data. When you have more data, this gold line, the 50-day moving average, is a lot longer because you have decades to work with. With Bitcoin, you only have 13 years. So I say that to you to say, once upon a time, before this madness over the last 6 months happened in Bitcoin that you've seen, 50-day moving average is over on this side as well. And you can see that it eventually came, and it was about here, right? So it came down and tested that support. Finally came down to the 50-day moving average, which was incredibly bearish, you saw on the chart and in the price. But what did it do after that? It tested that 50-day and it took off like a rocket ship back when you saw everything happen in March. It came down and tested that level as well, long lower wick. Again, I teach you all this in my course, yourbitcoinnow.com, and I can teach you about not only Bitcoin, but how the stock market works and how you can read charts like this. Yourbitcoinnow.com. Yes. So, but yeah, you saw a precipitous bullish move in Bitcoin, and then you saw a bearish move down, 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 and it didn't feel good for a lot of people except for the shorts and the bears, and it was overextended and eventually did this. So I say this to say to you now, you've seen this happen once, right? incredibly bullish, goes straight above. Look at this right here. I'm showing it to you, right? What does this look like now? Ooh, looks familiar, huh? It's essentially doing the same thing. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be bearish. When I say Bitcoin at 20,000 to you, I'm not saying it's going to stay at 20,000 forever. I'm bullish on the space long term. Um, Way back when you holded Bitcoin or you hodled Bitcoin, you had people ask you, "Oh, you still into that Bitcoin?" And you'd say, "Yeah," and they'd be like, "Well, kind of going down. Are you gonna sell it anytime soon?" And you know what I would tell people? This is when you saw Bitcoin at 5,000, 4,000, near 3,000. I would just, what you would tell people is, I have Bitcoin in a wallet that I'll never sell. Whether you see it go to zero or whether you see it go to 1 million, never going to sell it. And they'd be like, okay, that's fair. And I did good by doing that. And you know what? If you're here on Twitch with us, jump in the chat. And if you're a subscriber, if you are a subscriber on Twitch, I will give you Bitcoin right now. Right now, ahora mismo. Yes, ahora mismo, I'll give you Bitcoin right now. So that is because I'm in a giving mood. But yes, I'm just looking at this chart. It's bound to come down. You're going to see Bitcoin come down and eventually test that 12-day moving average support. The 50-day, maybe not anytime soon, but definitely that 12-day. Look how overextended this is. Again, for your portfolio, feels amazing, looks amazing, but is this what we're rocking with? 100% of the time going forward? Probably not. And this is what you see happen. Incredible bull moves you see in Bitcoin, and then you see a bear move, and that's just how this thing works. So that bear move, once it finally does come, you're seeing that the 12 days around 20,000. You have it's at 21,000 actually for what you're seeing on the chart with me, and ultimately it's also just a psychological support as well, at that level. So fair enough. That's what we're looking at in terms of Bitcoin. The bearish case for Bitcoin, I do see a retracement down to 20,000. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, especially when you're at all-time highs today. It looks like Bitcoin looks like it wants to test that 50,000 level here, which is at 50,767. And if you see it test that level, which is very plausible, and that's what's going to happen, and the Bitcoin bulls will be even more happy. And I talked with you about Bitcoin last week, and I was just saying how 100,000. Where do you see $100,000 Bitcoin? Yeah, 999,888. You kind of see that over here on the Fibonacci. Could it go there this year? I mean, it's insane, but why not? That said, I do think you'll see a retracement down to 20,000 a test. That doesn't mean it's going to stay there. But I do see a test of that level. You'll probably see like a long lower wick to represent that. I don't think you'll see a big bear candle. I don't think the bulls will allow the price to go down to 20,000 and stay there this year. But I do see some sort of consolidation happening and a bear move starting that. So, yep, that's what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. The mighty Bitcoin. You know what I'm also excited about? If I be honest with you, I'm excited about Power Ledger. Now, I hold Power Ledger as well, and Power Ledger's been breaking out here as well. So obviously, you're seeing a very bearish chart here. Back in January of 2018, you saw the all-time high price of $2.05 for Power Ledger. You may be saying, "Ooh, how can you see that?" I'm looking up here. I teach you OHL and C, mean open, high, low, and close on this chart. I teach you that in my course. yourbitcoinnow.com, and you can join that course. So $2 back then. You might be asking also, Power Ledger, what's that? Well, Power Ledger is a cryptocurrency, and I'm just going to pull my plug here. Not plugged in on my Mac. So Power Ledger is a cryptocurrency that helps democratize energy. So when you have that happen, where's this power at? I think it's all the way over there. Just gonna knock myself down here. We're live, by the way. This is how we do it live. This is how we do it, man. This is how we do it. Na, 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 na. Feeling good on a Monday. Yeah, I'm just going to power up the Mac here. Boom. And let's see. Power, power, power. You got the power. Let's try it that way. Doom, doom, doom. Oh, the power on my Mac doesn't want to work. Are we all the way in? We're all the way up. Yes. Loving it. All right. So Power Ledger on a Bitcoin. The Power Ledger in cryptocurrency is a coin that democratizes energy. And when I say that to you, I mean that it allows you, the whole point of the coin and the whole point of the project that you see here is it democratizes energy where it allows you to sell energy to your neighbor. So whatever excess energy you have, let's say your lighting bill is not that high for the month of February, and you might be saying, well, why is it not that high? Well, you were traveling, or you were out of the house a lot, you took up some extra work, you were in the gym a lot, whatever the case may be, you were running more, you were at friends' houses. So you just used your lights a lot less. Whatever extra energy you have at the end of the month, you'll be able to sell to your neighbor, or you'll be able to sell it to somebody in your neighborhood, or in an incredibly bullish scenario, you'll be able to sell it to somebody on the other side of the world, right? So let's say your lighting bill or your electric bill is $100 a month, $100 a month, and this month it's only 65. The other $35 worth of energy you'll be able to sell to somebody, and you'd be able to do this on the blockchain. And this is what Power Ledger does. And I met the founder and CEO, Dr. Gemma Green, here in Las Vegas. And when you met her, I mean, a very powerful, dynamic woman from Australia. She was also the mayor of Perth for some time, Perth, Australia, that is. And just the idea about democratizing energy so you and I can profit, and it's not just a big old energy company that has been around since the dawn of a nation, or the dawn of the nation and energy, right? So yeah, energy consumption, that is. So yeah, I love the project. And I was picking up a lot of Power Ledger, accumulating a lot of Power Ledger over the last few years, just because I see a bullish case for it, one, and two, I love the project. So that's what you see a lot in cryptocurrency as well. A lot of it is, how well does this project work out? Is this project viable? And so on and so forth. So yeah, I just love it. Love Power Ledger, and it's having a bull move right now. It's gone up to 14 cents. It was at 5 cents for a while. I think I picked it up at 5 cents for a little while. So it's tripled since then. Just having a quick look, it's broken over the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So that's incredibly bullish. And it's been piquing my interest as of late. You see on the 6th, it went up to 17 cents. So yeah, it's just been doing well, been doing really well. And obviously you're seeing a major bullish move in Bitcoin. So that bodes well for Power Ledger as well, considering it is a cryptocurrency. And when Bitcoin does well, the crypto space does well. That said, I'm just happy for everyone at the project. I'm hoping that there's some new things that you'll be seeing coming out from them. Their Telegram has been pretty active as well, in terms of just getting information together. I'm gonna set up my chair the right way. I got like records behind me. I DJ here on Twitch. So we are live. I'm live with you. So yeah, so Power Ledger doing really well, and we're super excited for them. Super excited for the coin too, especially that you're seeing such a bull move in the coin. So loving that, loving Power Ledger, loving you for being here with us on Twitch. You know that we're live every Monday and Thursday here on Twitch and on Clubhouse. So shout outs to all of you listening in on Clubhouse as well. Of course, you can get in the chat. If you are a subscriber here on Twitch, I will give you Bitcoin. So if you are a sub here on Twitch, I will give you Bitcoin. All you need to do is just whisper me your wallet and prove that you are indeed a sub, and I will give you Bitcoin right here because I'm in a giving mood and you're here. So thank you for being here. I want to talk to you about Salesforce as well. So Salesforce, I'm going to look with you live on the chart. It's not a stock that I've followed heavily, but it is a stock that I have interest in the sense that I keep hearing about it. It's something that you keep hearing about. Salesforce, Salesforce, Salesforce. Not in my watch list. Um, the company basically, makes it easier for you to run your sales team for your company. Just kind of takes all the guesswork out of it for you, and that is obviously very. We applaud you, Salesforce, for doing that. I was having a quick look at the chart. I think it was last night. I looked at the chart briefly. I think I looked at it briefly on Robinhood actually, just to kind of see where it's been at. And I'm going to show you the charts right to now, live here on Twitch and on Clubhouse. Jump in the chat, ask me whatever questions you got because I'm here to answer your questions too. Yeah. All right. So you see this chart, right? Incredibly bullish. And this is what I was talking about in terms of elevators and stairs. I often give you that analogy because it's one of the easiest ways I can tell you what looks healthy in terms of growth and what kind of just looks unhealthy in terms of growth. So, and speaking of unhealthy, you've seen GameStop do insane things. It's down another 8% today. As I'm talking to you, it's down to $59 or so. About $59. So unhealthy moves you saw in GameStop. I've talked with you at length about that on multiple shows here. And this is what looks healthy, just nice and steady Eddie. When somebody asks you, hey, I need you to go up these stairs, and they go like this, right? You might say to yourself, well, you know what? Stairs not my favorite, but since these stairs go basically sideways or diagonal like that, it's super easy. You've seen escalators like that or moving floors like that, possibly at an airport where you see it just kind of, it doesn't necessarily go across, it goes up, but it doesn't go up like an elevator, it just goes like diagonal like that, right? Nice and easy. And this is what that looks like, just nice, steady flow. And then, yes, you had incredibly bullish insanity happen right here. But at the end of the day, not that big of a deal, right? You also had an insane year, right? You see a lot of the tech industry just going bonkers, and Salesforce benefited from that. But just looking at the chart here, goes back to about 2005. The company back then it was 365 in December 04, according to this chart here. Now today you see it at 238.19. Now, what I often ask you, if you're my student, is did you have $3 back in 2005? And oftentimes you as a student will say, well, yeah. I'm like, you know what? If you had, if you bought just one, you have over $235 of profit today buying it for $3. If you buy it for $3 in 2005 and then 16 years later, you're here at 238. Just shows you the power of the markets. But just looking at this going across, yeah, it looks really, really formidable. And I'm not a huge fan of this. Obviously, it's great for your bottom line. So at all-time high of 278.28. Again, the O, the H, and the L, and the C. I teach you that up here in my course about how to read this. And then that eventually will come down to the 12-day moving average here. And it looks like it hit a low of 212.99 back beginning of January. Or actually, this is the monthly chart. So that's just in January. That was the low for January of this year. And Salesforce, yeah, it's had a bull move since. Will it come and test that 50-day? It hasn't tested that 50-day. It did back in March. And then previously before that, you saw it test the 50-day 5 years ago, February 2016. So incredibly bullish company. Is it overbought? No, it's not overbought at the current time. So that is another pretty bullish case for it because you see it, it's not an overbought condition. So there's some room for it to run. And also 238.31 now, its all-time high is 278.28. I'm going to look at this as a good pickup. So you might be asking yourself, well, where did Salesforce come from? And this is what I teach you in my course. Just keeping your ear to the ground. Went to Super Bowl party last night. Not a big party. In fact, I missed the whole game. I went after the game because I was streaming for you here on Twitch during the game. And I wasn't really into being at a big party anyway this year. So I went after the fact, and there was just like a handful of people there, including my friend who was there with his housemate. And his housemate has a background in Silicon Valley. I was talking to you about this on Clubhouse briefly before we got started here this morning on Twitch. And she works in Silicon Valley, and she had a lot of great things to say about Salesforce. You heard her say, "Oh yeah, Salesforce is an awesome company. Their software is amazing. They got some proprietary stuff coming that is going to be revolutionize the industry, and they're really good people. That if you're in San Francisco, and when you're in San Francisco and you're working in Silicon Valley, you know that Salesforce throws the best after work parties. You see, Salesforce owns the biggest building in San Francisco, and when you go to their building, to their rooftop, they have after work parties, including 2 free drinks for you, and they really do an amazing job, as you can see, of building a community in San Francisco amongst the tech industry." And she was glowing, talking about Salesforce. And as she was saying it, she said to me, "It's like, well, I really love Salesforce because um, they do a really good job of making people happy." And I said, "Yeah, you think you're evangelizing for them and you don't even work for them." So that also made me bullish on the company, in the sense that when you have a company that treats its employees well, and when you have a company that treats people well, right, overall, you come away with a good feeling, that is a company that you want to take another look at least if you're me, right? So that's what made me look at the chart, and incredibly bullish back in August of 2020. But you saw a lot of the Nasdaq, and you saw a lot of tech companies do extremely well back then. And yeah, it's come back to retrace the move. So Salesforce is looking like a pretty good pickup as well, and it might be something I pick up. I might make this a small part of my portfolio. Why not? The 50-day moving average is down at like 159. She said, she said to me, "You are going to see them launch some new software, Salesforce, where they're going to basically consolidate the industry to a large degree." And when I say consolidate, their competitors, you're going to see their competitors actually work with them. And you're going to see them say, "Okay, you guys have this software. Well, we're going to integrate our stuff into your stuff so it makes it easy." Right. So oftentimes you see companies kind of say, "Oh, you're doing that proprietary thing. That has nothing to do with us. So we're going to launch our own thing." Or we're going to make it harder for you to work with us. Right. You see kind of this, you know, meeting of the minds that don't necessarily meet. However, when you see a company launch something and then everybody says, "Well, I guess we have to integrate this now," you know that you have something powerful in your company, because it's not typical. It happens. Yes, you see it happen, but it's not typical. And when you see companies just kind of fall down at the feet of one, hello, right? Warren Buffett loves toll booth companies. And when he says toll booth companies, you're not seeing him talk exactly verbatim, right? He's not being literal when he says that. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for, this is a company that you just can't get around, right? No matter what you do, you have to go through them to some degree. They're a toll booth company. And if Salesforce, in the world of CRM, and it's funny that their ticker is also CRM, that's cool. Um, and CRM stands for Customer Relations Management, I believe. And yeah, if you're seeing them create a toll booth, bridge kind of company and culture, where you see them making everybody happy in the same realm, looks bullish to me for sure. So I think I'm gonna pick up some Salesforce. Yeah, it's gonna diversify my portfolio. I don't know if I have, apart from Apple, I don't think I have any tech in my portfolio. I love tech, but it's just not necessarily my go-to, especially for companies that I don't know or don't understand. So yeah, Salesforce, I'm gonna pick it up. Now, this is not financial advice. None of this is financial advice today. I'm only talking to you for educational purposes. I'm just a guy in a suit. Hello. So whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at as far as them. I want to take a quick look at. Let's look at GameStop. I know you and I have been talking about GameStop like, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. And a shout out to all of you who bought GameStop at 500 bucks and are holding the bag today at 59.39. So you've seen GameStop come down to that 12-day moving average. Gotta love that 12-day. That's that blue line right there. And like clockwork, it's come down there. And we're either going to see it take a bit of a bounce from here, and maybe the bulls gather some steam next month. 50-day moving average is down here around $23, $22. I might sell some calls on this on GameStop this week. I'm going to look with you later this week. I know that I showed you last week while I was trying to open up a trade on them last week, and it just didn't work. GameStop was like, nope. Actually, my broker at TD Ameritrade was like, nope, no GameStop for you. So I might have to do that on Robinhood. And because Robinhood, you've seen Robinhood, they've opened up the trading for GameStop once again, including options as well. So I might sell calls on GameStop later this week, just depending on where you see the price go. Look quickly in the daily chart for you on GameStop, and good morning to you for joining us here on Twitch. Just jump in the chat and ask me whatever question you have. If you're a subscriber here, I will give you Bitcoin. That is my deal with you. I'll give you Bitcoin if you're a subscriber here on Twitch. We're also live on Clubhouse right now. DJ UCH on Clubhouse. So it's just barely staying above that 50-day moving average. It's looking very sad, actually. If I were to guess, if you see things end bullish, you'll see, for the month, you'll see GameStop end above 67 bucks for the month. If you see things bullish, see things bearish, there is no support on the daily chart below that 50-day moving average. But of course, you have the monthly chart that shows you support down at around $21, $26. There's the 26-day moving average. That's the red line there. And I'm sharing my screen with you here on Twitch. Good morning to you. See it at 37 bucks. So yeah, so again, shout outs to you if you bought GameStop at 500 or 300 and you're still holding the bag. Hopefully you learned something from this, and hopefully you learned something from my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. I teach you about the markets, and I could have told you, hello, not to touch this in terms of buying it at 300. And I mean, just ridiculous. You saw people hit me left and right, texting me, calling me. What do you think about GameStop? Should I buy it? Da, da, da. I said, are you buying it? I'm like, I'm not touching this with the 10-foot pole. I'm waiting to short this thing because it doesn't make any sense. And you know that markets are efficient, so you know this isn't going to last. I teach you about manias and bubbles and how to profit from them in my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. So if you had any experience in the markets and you knew anything about how markets work and its efficiency, you knew that the GameStop run was going to end, and it wasn't going to end well for a lot of people. And this is what you're seeing now. You have people and bots on Wall Street Bets, Reddit currently saying, don't sell, don't sell. I mean, who knows? It could go to 3,000 or 30,000 from here. I said that in a long, lengthy Facebook post on my personal page if you have me on Facebook. And yeah, I said it could go to 30,000. Who knows? I just know this isn't going to end well for a lot of people. And you see that there are people who bought it at $300, $400. And you see where the price is today. So it is what it is, my friends. It is what it is. If you have any stocks that you want to take a look at, make sure you jump in the chat and just let us know. EXPI, I want to just take another look at. Very, very overextended there, and very, very overbought. I mean, look at that. It's at 94.48. I think it's the most overbought it's ever been. Might be the most overbought it's ever been. Okay, so here, so I'm just looking at the RSI levels here. So you see those numbers kind of changing when I hover at a certain point. This is the RSI here. Again, I teach you about that in my course. 88.54 is where you see the RSI here. Very overbought. 87.10. Over here, 94.48. This thing is just, I mean, a monster. So yeah, so I'm expecting the price to come down. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I would say soon. Teach you about that again in my course, about how the RSI indicates to you how soon a stock is going to finish its move. I just moved this multicolored thing called the Fibonacci for you so that I was more in line with where the chart is at. It had overshot the Fibonacci, so just bringing it within the chart. And today it went up all the way to 156.22. It says that down here. So you see the price of right now is 148 as I talk to you live on Twitch. And shout outs to you if you're watching our restream on YouTube. 156.22 is what you saw it go to today. It's up 10% today. I might look to sell calls on this too, although I do think you'll see a typically when you see the week start like this, like that right there to me looks bearish for the week. Let's see, are we overextended? Yeah, overbought on the weekly as well. So that looks bearish to me in the sense that, and again, I teach you this about my course, it's just a certain candlestick pattern that indicates bearishness, which means you're going to see some bear moves following it. Now, I'm not saying that for certain. I also you have to look at what the options cost on this. I love selling options. I teach you about that in my course as well. And yeah, if the premium is good enough, I would look to go short on this because it's just very overextended and it's crying out for a retracement. So you see that there's a support here at 120.19. I'm in on this, by the way, so this is something that I'm holding. Shout out to my buddy David. He's a real estate agent for EXP, which is EXP Realty, which is a realty company. And he told me about this back in October. And when you saw it back in October, what did you see the price was? What did you see the price was? It's like 40 bucks. I mean, looking back here, October 5th, we met that week. Told me about it. Then it went up to 62, came down later that month to 41. 42.39 is what you saw it close the month of October with. And look what it's done since. I didn't pick it up back here, by the way, because I was bad. I was naughty. But what you saw happen just, skyrocketed. And I picked it up, I want to say like around, I didn't quite pick it up here. When you saw it go and hit 100, I was just like, oof, man, this is something that you want to pick up now. You want to get in on. And, I didn't pick it up right then and there, which is like, you win some, you lose some. But that said, it continued to go up. And I think my cost basis, I think I picked it up around 115, 120, something like that. I'm going to look it up real quick as we talk to you live here in Clubhouse as well. Shout out to all of you in Clubhouse. Yeah, so what did we pick up EXPI at? We picked it up at 126.79. So, I'm up 16% on it, which is great. I told you about it too a few weeks ago here, EXP. So if you picked it up, congrats to you based off of what you and I discussed. I do think it's due for a retracement. And, when that does happen, then I think you'll see, some pretty decent levels for more of a pickup. So EXP, I think I'd be happy with an exit around maybe 200 or so. So I think at that level, I would dump some and let the rest ride. And that's because, who knows where. Actually, instead of guessing, let's look at a fib extension. So this is what you can do. You can run a fib extension. I'm going to share my screen with you once again so you can see what I'm talking about. And if you don't understand anything I'm talking about, if I'm sounding like Chinese to you and you don't speak Chinese, yourbitcoinnow.com. You can take my course now, and I explain all this to you. My students are doing phenomenal. My students made thousands of dollars, and I'm a proud papa on knowing that. So yourbitcoinnow.com. I can teach you all of this. I'm not selfish. I'm in a giving mood. I'll give you Bitcoin too if you're a subscriber here on Twitch. Let's just go back to Clubhouse there. Hello, Clubhouse. All right, so share my screen with you once again. And yeah, I'm not getting enough sleep. I think that's why I'm like got the sniffles and nose is running, sneezing. So let's see. Trend fib extension we're going to do, and we're going to go to the bottom of the move. Let's go for like right there. And we're going to just trace it to the top of the move, which is like right there, 156 or so. Boom. And then we just drag that across. So that fib extension will That will allay us from having to continue moving that fib up and up and up and up. What you're seeing now is an extension. So it tells you not only the current price levels based on what's happened, it tells you the future price levels based on what's happened. I love Fibonacci. Okay, so looks like 156 is our current resistance. 156.22. You saw EXP hit back in this morning. So it's hitting all-time highs. 193.10, you're seeing another resistance. So that's a level that you want to keep your eye on in terms of like, okay, we'll hit that and then maybe bounce off of there. Next level I see is 215.61, and I'm seeing 233.80, and so on and so forth. It tops out at 310, and then it goes, bonkers, 406, whatnot. I'm looking for a couple of stocks, to be honest with you. I'm looking for a couple of stocks that are going to make a run like Roku did about 2 years ago. So I owned Roku back in 2018, and I told you about this, I think, here before. I picked it up because I never heard of Roku before, but I was staying with a friend in LA when I first moved to the West Coast. And when I was staying with her, she would watch Roku. And you saw people have cable, and you saw people have satellite, and you saw people have just cut the cord. Here's someone you had who was using Roku. And I was looking at it like, Roku, that's interesting. So then I looked at the stock, and I love the platform, by the way. Roku is actually a lot of fun to watch, very easy platform to navigate, and also cheap, and came with the smart TV apparently. So I looked at the stock, and it was maybe $40 or so. So I picked it up then, and kind of traded it around short term. I got out of it in 2018. I didn't hold on to it. And Roku today. This always makes me um, a little emotional. 436.79. Yes, $436.79 is what Roku's at today. So it basically did a 10x from where I held it. I held it down here. Yep. I owned Roku at $40. I look at what it's done since. It didn't do all that overnight, but it did it. And back in March of 2020, I had one last chance. You had one last chance to pick it up. 58.22 was the low for March 2020. So in a year, you've seen it go up close to 900%. Yeah. So that said, I'm looking for the future Roku, because obviously this move is crazy. It's overextended. Let me look at that. I did have this though. So, the thing I tell my students, wow, look at Disney up at 190 today, doing well. The thing I tell my students, like I'll tell you, is that there's always new opportunities in the market. Always new opportunities in the market. So don't get discouraged if you don't see what you want. Don't get discouraged if you miss a move. Don't go chasing waterfalls, my friend. Shout out to TLC, RIP, Left Eye. You just got to stay consistent and just persistently look for new opportunities, and they're always there for you. My watch list is insane. I mean, look at all these different stocks, all these different opportunities for you. There's thousands of stocks for you to take a look at, thousands. And there's always new opportunities. There's always things happening, so many different sectors. That's why, I mean, you ask me why I love the markets. It's because of this. It's because you just have so many opportunities. I love that. I so love that. And I love that for you because, you have a lot of opportunity to do amazing things. A lot of opportunity to do amazing things. Look at that. Moderna is at 187. Let's have a quick look at Moderna. We got about 7 minutes left in today's show. Jump in the chat if you haven't already, so we can talk with you about about it, whatever you want to talk about. If you have any questions, I got them for you right here on the big old Twitch. So Moderna, for the last few months, obviously it had a huge November. Went from 66 to 153. Closed the month at 152.74. So essentially more than doubled for that month, and then it retraced that move heavily down to 104. It actually went up to 178. You saw it in December. It came down to 104. So a 31% decline from where it opened as to where it closed for the month, but it came back and retraced all that move. right? Up to the upside, and now it's at all-time highs of 186.69. So shout out to the Moderna bulls for sure. Let's see 185. Yep. So that looks like it's about in line. 185.51 or so. 189. We're going to move that up to 189. Let's get a little bit more exact here. 189.48. Boom. Moderna doing well. Am I picking up Moderna? No, I'm not. But if you are Moderna bull, then congrats to you. Maybe I should pick up Moderna, considering the vaccine and whatnot. Let's look at Pfizer, PFE, PF Chang's. Do you like PF Chang's? If you are a subscriber here on Twitch, I will give you Bitcoin. All you have to do is just say, "Hey," in the chat, "I'm a sub, I'm a sub, I'm a subscriber," and I'll whisper to you. Well, you'll whisper to me your wallet, and I'll send you Bitcoin today because I'm in a giving mood. All right. So looking at the Pfizer chart, not as bullish as Moderna, but it's not as sexy to the streets as Moderna is. Moderna is kind of like the new kid on the block. Pfizer is, an old company, so to speak, quote unquote. So you see less. I mean, look at this. They announced the vaccine and it tanks, right? High 43.08. It's down to 34.78. You're seeing it test that 50-day moving average. I like Pfizer here as a pickup because it's right on that 50-day, and that 50-day moving average tends to be really good support. So am I picking up Pfizer? I might pick up some Pfizer. Let's see. Does Pfizer have I like stocks that have a dividend. Now, there are a couple of stocks I have that don't have dividends, but let's look at what Pfizer's doing. So Pfizer, do they have a dividend? I'm not. Where's all the information about Pfizer? Dividend. Yep, they have a 4% per year dividend. Maybe I will pick up Pfizer this week. It's looking pretty. I mean, it's looking pretty bearish considering where it was at. Just zooming out, it looks like its all-time high was back in 2018, or maybe it wasn't. Nope, looks like its all-time high was way back when, back in the 1990s, and all-time high at. That's not right. Let's see, all-time high at 47.44 or so. 47.44. Yep, and it's at 34.77. So it could, it could be bullish from here, or you could have just missed the move, right? Back in March of 2020, hit a low of 26.43. So it's pretty volatile stock, but it's not that volatile. I just like whenever I see anything right on the 50-day that I think should be moving bullishly going forward, I get excited. Like, I think you want to take a look at that. So I don't know. I'm going to ponder that one, and I'll get back to you on Pfizer if I pick that up or not. I talked about DraftKings also last night at that Super Bowl party. I don't know if we could pull up DraftKings right quick. DKNG, I believe, is the ticker. DKNG. Let's look up DraftKings as well. We've got about 2 minutes left, so if you're not in the chat saying, "Hey, I'm a sub, give me Bitcoin," and you are a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Jump in the chat and tell me you're a subscriber so I can hook you up with some Bitcoin. I'll send you Bitcoin right now. And shout outs to all of you on Clubhouse as well, listening in. We're live every Monday and Thursday here on Clubhouse with all of you. DKNG. I don't see. Oh, there we go. DraftKings. Boom. DraftKings has had a move up as of late. In fact, we're at all-time highs now. Actually, no, 64.19 is the all-time high. So, yeah, 64.78 would hit that all-time high this month of February. Let's look at, it's not quite overbought, so I like that. I started picking up DraftKings when it came down near to the 12-day. And DraftKings position is based on the fact that everybody loves gambling these days. And you can do it legally now. They promote it on ESPN here in the United States. So if you want to gamble, there's plenty of places for you to do it. The betting lines now are part of just regular news. So DraftKings, considering Disney, you see, have the stake in it. I'm liking it as well. So yeah, I have a position in DraftKings, and I start picking up at around $50, which is just again within the last few weeks, and now you're seeing it at 64, I think it was, right? 62.33. So yep, good move in that. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching us on YouTube on the restream, shout outs to you as well. Jump in the comments and leave a comment down below. I want to thank you all for being with us here on Twitch. We're live with you on Twitch every Monday and Thursday. So don't be shy either. Jump in the chat and talk with us because we want to talk with you. All right. We're here to help you. And I'm grateful to be here with you. So you have an amazing week. I'll see you back here on Twitch Thursday talking with you about finance. God bless and take care.